Hey guys, Crozo here, back with another video for you. Today I'm going over a 15 Darkflame Cleft that I ran the other day. First thing I want to do is show you my talents. I'm just playing the normal AoE build for Mythic+, so we have Shadow Invocation and the Red Dog to help cleave. And then in the Warlock side talents, I take a point out of Sargeria Technique, and I forgot to change my talents from a mother load I ran, so instead of Banish, we'll take the point, put it in either Dark Fury for a shorter cooldown on Shadow Fury, for the mobs in the first area, or the elementals you want to stun to stop the AoE casts, or Amplify Curse, put on the Candle King or the last boss for some of the casters, to make Curse of Tongue stronger and their cast times take that much longer. I highly recommend one of these, or if you'd only B-Res, you can take Swift Artifice just for a faster B-Res as well. And for my gear, I was 668, I had 24% crit, 23 haste, 38 mastery, and 7% verse in the key. This is all unbuffed, so it'll change depending on, my flask and whatnot. Okay, so going into the key, first pack is pretty annoying. We have to wait a while for the tank to gather everything. And for him to start the key. So, while we're waiting for him to get everything gathered, I want to try and get some soul shards or imps going without pulling aggro. And I only have one imp right now passively generated. If I use Power Siphon, I'll only get one charge with one at core. There are rats here, and I'm going to use Hand of Gul'dan on one of the rats to spawn some imps and get more charges of Power Siphon. I'm probably not the most efficient, but I'm kind of AFK and don't want to pull aggro. You could also use Shadow Bolt on them to get more swords that way too, and just wait for the imp and Power Siphon it. But I wanted to try this out because I haven't really done this before. Neat little tech you can try in dungeons. And then we're going to pull these mobs and just run around the corner. We're going to pull the first pack and then 2 packs in this room as well. We're going to lust it all and stack up here. So in this pack, there are several mobs that are a real nuisance. We got the casters who are already casting their bolts on people that put a dot. We got the big guy here who does the AoE slam, which knocks away all mobs in it, including enemies, making it annoying to implosion. And you've got this guy over here who casts Throw Rock and has an enrage buff. On the way into the room, I wanted to summon my Grimoire Felguard, and I went ahead and targeted the guy here who spam throws his rocks, because I wanted to stun him and keep him from walking in here and getting knocked away from us, while also trying to minimize him getting his buff off or throwing rocks at us. And once things start getting stacked again, I'm just going to go ahead and do my normal rotation. I want to just get my Tyrant out as soon as possible, so I send it quickly, only having a few imps, and then I focus on just trying to kill these mobs as fast as possible. You can use Curse of Tongues here, and maybe I should have it in hindsight. The Hunter died, so we have fewer kicks and a bit less DPS than we normally would. Maybe I should have used Curse of Tongues on this. Next, we're going to pull 2 of these Overseers here. With these Overseers, they have a Roar, and you can line of sight the Roar because it does a large amount of damage. I don't start line of sighting it until, a minute or 2 from now. I'm taking extra damage for no reason. You can see it half healths me there through. The Hunter's getting a position. When I cast it, you need to be behind one of these pillars, opposite of them. I try and LOS it behind this little house thing in a second, and it doesn't work. You have to be behind the pillar. So, I learned that the hard way. At least I didn't die. This next pack, we have casters, and we have the Throw Rock guy, so it's definitely a bit of an annoying pack. I just want to try and stun them as much as I can. Also, when the Overseer does his AoE slam and knockback, I'm fairly certain if you stun them as the knockback is going off, they won't get knocked back. It's very handy. But we have a DK to help whip them in, so it's not too bad for us. So this next pack, we're waiting for this Overseer mob to pat to the right. We want to skip him. We have Mind Soothe from the Priest, so we can just run straight through no problem. But to help speed it up, I like to throw a gateway here. Jump to see over the rock to throw it. This gateway by itself will not skip this mob. If you take the gateway without Mind Soothe or something, or Imprison on this mob, he will pull. The one mob by itself isn't that big of a deal, but we don't want to pull it anyway. If you end up pulling mobs from there, you can go behind this corner here, and you can fight back at that corner. And they'll LOS and come to you. On this boss, I've got the debuff on me right now, Blurring Candle Flame coming up. It makes all the small dudes target me, and then when they hit you, you get this bleed debuff, and it ramps up like infinitely, does a ton of damage. You want to do your best to run them over the carts here, to get run over by the mine carts, or have the boss charge them, or have them get hit by rubble, just to get them off as fast as possible. I drop my demonic circle here, and then I want to move across the tracks from it, so I can, teleport back to it and kite the mobs over the track, or just run them over it and make them get hit by the carts. So obviously, we want to make sure we focus this dynamite minecart here. If we don't, we'll get killed. And you can see I have 19 stacks of that debuff, so I was not doing a very good job kiting them to get them killed. It's pretty tempting to want to pad super hard on the ads. But if we have mechanics coming up soon, it's not really worth it. But if the cart had just happened and there's bosses going to charge soon, it's probably better to kill them off. They aren't just applying the debuff to people too often. You'll see I implosion quite a few times in here, but it's not every single time I get a chance. Plus, they don't really count on your logs anyway, so adding on them doesn't really matter. So I've got the candle thing on me. The boss is going to charge in a few seconds, so I'm just going to stand kind of near the boss. And over here by this minecart, if it targets me, I want it to go across this way. But it's on somebody else, so I'll just go ahead and stun the ads. And we pretty much kill all of them before the mechanics come. We've gotten kind of unlucky a lot of the times where we're tanking the boss. The minecart will go across the track that is not next to it. You can do on these mobs, which I'm not doing enough of, is you can tab target them with your Demon Bolt and apply Doom. That way when they die, you'll spawn more and more Doom Guards. Because Implosion and stuff on them isn't super effective, even though I'm doing it a bunch. This will actually help you. Having more Doom Guards spawn, they can help funnel damage into the boss. Here, I committed to using my dogs and my Vile Fiend, but I don't use Tyrant because I want to use it in the next room. I'll use Gateway Order to make it a bit faster for us. And here I'm going to check my boss damage compared to them. I padded on the ads, but that was second on boss damage. But not bad, being a dirty padder. In this room, these giant mobs are doing a big AoE slam. You can LOS it around this corner here. But from where I'm at, I want to go ahead and start ramping. I'm not really focusing on LOSing it at first. Sorry in advance either. At the moment, it isn't doing too much damage to me, so it's not a big deal. Warlocks are that tanky. Plus, I also use. So. I also get LOS it back here on this pillar, like in that first room. I was talking about the shout. Quenching Blast is the one to worry about. My gateway's on cooldown a little bit, so the priest will grip me out of this far corner I'm in, which is very helpful. Saves me a few steps of running. See, we only have a few kicks in this group. Only lists us as having 3. I'm not sure if the druid is expecting his or using it or whatever. In that pack, I went ahead and used Curse of Tongues on some of the mobs to reduce their casts. And I was fearing them with Mortal Coil and stuff to keep them from casting on us. In here, for this pack, I want to try and get more Soul Shards and more Imps. So I'll save my Imps from the previous pack without using Implosion. And I'll attack these, little critters. I can Shadow Bolt them or Hand of Gul'dan them, and it won't put me in combat. So what I'll do is I will use my Vile Fiend, and then I think I use my dogs on these critters here, and it doesn't put you in combat. So my Imps timers will stay a long timer, and then I can go into this pool with a Tyrant with these Imps without them despawning at all. If I have more, more demons than this, it's probably better, but yeah, that's not a bad little tyrant. These ads here, they cast a spell. It puts this debuff on us. This debuff makes you take increased fire damage per stack of the debuff. And this guy still does his giant AoE. What you can do is you can get behind the candle and LOS the blast. I don't do it here because I just want to die. On this next one, I should get behind the candle and LOS it. I'm trying to get the whole squad back here. While also planning for the boss as well. You can cast your Vile Fiend while you don't need to be targeting anything. So I should have casted Vile Fiend behind that pillar. So what I want to do on this boss is he is going to choose people who are far from him, 3 people, to do like the fire barrage on them. And you want to light as many candles on fire as possible. For each candle that isn't lit by us, that the boss lights himself, we take a stacking debuff, which does a bunch of damage. What I want to do is drop my Demonic Circle in my gateway here to try and light as many candles on fire as possible during the intermission. This gateway is going to work later, which is unfortunate, but you'll see what I'm going for. But I'm not really doing damage yet. I'm just trying to focus on popping the candles. My gateway was in a bugged spot, so it didn't work, and I only popped 1, which is unfortunate. I'll move the gateway, and I can get 3, and if I have the faster move speed talent for Burning Rush, or some other movement speed, I'll get 4 candles myself. Here, this is the other important mechanic. We light the candles, and then it'll choose people to extinguish the candles. We just chose this candle here at the beginning that I pinged. So I want to line up my blue arrow on the 1 candle to extinguish it. And then I'll use my Demonic Circle I placed earlier to teleport out of the way of this tornado that's coming after it teleports from the boss. I didn't teleport, but I set it there to teleport. Oops. So before, we wanted to light as many candles as possible. This time, we want to extinguish as few as possible. Because now we'll get a stacking debuff. Or we got a stacking debuff based on the amount of candles that the boss will light here. This time, we had one candle, so it's just one. And that's it. You cycle between as many candles as possible and as few candles as possible. I'm talking a lot. There's one more thing I want to say here. This right here, Dousing Breath, is a knockback that does a bunch of damage. This little lip around the middle area here will stop you from getting pushed back. You see where the priest is standing right on the lip here? Or when I walk up, I'm going to pretty much get knocked back to like 0%. I was kind of moving at the lip area when it happened. So if you can get in melee range, it's not a bad idea to do so. So here, I'm going to light this one on fire, take the gateway, and I'll teleport to the third one. Well, I was going to teleport, but that guy was there. You can easily do 3. 4 might be possible, but I haven't tried doing 4 myself before. In a pug, we didn't coordinate who was going to light which candles, so I just kind of did my own thing. But if you coordinate with like your friends in a key, you can easily cover 3 of those, no problem. You just call dibs on half of the room. This time I got knocked back a little bit. That cheese spot is pretty helpful. So there, I used my gateway at the end of the fight. We're going to clear this trash room and then skip the mini-boss afterwards. So you don't want to use your gateway during the last set of candles there. You'll see when we go to do the skip, my gateway will be on cooldown for a little bit longer than normal. So the priest can life grip me, but definitely try not to use your gateway at the very end of that fight. And here we're just going to LOS this room back here and just kill them behind the wall. I've seen clips online of how a demon hunter can gather these mobs and they'll get one shot in the room by the RP or whatever. We don't have a demon hunter, and I don't know how to do it without a demon hunter, so we're just going to do the LOS strat like most pugs will do. So now when it comes to skipping this mini boss up here, it's really, really easy. You're just going to walk to the either left or right side of the room and just gateway. There's a few spots you can gateway, and they're mirrored, so if you go to the left side, it's the same. What I like to do most conveniently is just come to this area here, maybe this middle square, and just gateway up to the top of the stairs. And if your group decides that you want to kill the mini boss, there's 2 things you can do. First, if you get charged with the one-hand headlock, the grab ability, it has a 45-yard range. If you're out of 45 yards, the mob won't even move. He just won't charge at you. He'll just stand still. Or if you're like me, if the boss is targeting you and you have your demonic circle down, you can just he can start charging, and you can teleport out to dodge it. So with Gateway, and here Life Grip as well, you'll see my pets come up with me and they don't pull the mobs down there, which is nice. On this boss, you need to be very consistently stacked with your group when it comes time for him to spawn the candles. It's super easy to fall behind, so you want to make sure that never happens. And the whole point of this fight is that you want to just destroy these candles as soon as possible. He's going to have the frontal where he throws an axe. Normally there's going to be one candle that's kind of farther away than the others. If you have the candle, you want to knock the farthest candle away that's by itself. Because then you're going to have AoE circles, and if you can pop more than one candle at a time with AoE circles, that'll be really handy. Also, you'll see I put Curse of Tongues on the boss, just to make the interrupt that much easier. Our Death Knight didn't get one, but if you can help it, you want to try and make sure you're soaking the ranged candles, so that way if your melee, have a circle as well, they can keep uptime on the boss too. You'll see I pinged this candle here. This one's, the one off by itself the most. We can have a ranged stack here and stack, here. And they can get everything else. This one's kind of, not too far by itself, but, still off by itself anyway. As soon as we melt the candles, the boss will immediately cast the moles again, so you just want to stack up as soon as possible. We got super lucky with these spawns here, so it doesn't matter which one we break really. Also, if you're playing Night Elf, I've seen people Shadow Meld that cast and cancel it. And the other 15 I tried with this key, the tank Shadow Melded it, and then the boss immediately meleeed somebody else and killed them. But it stopped the axe throw, so. And outside of just doing this mechanic over and over, it's a very, very high damage per second fight. You're just always taking so much damage. But using Mortal Coil, using Hellstones, using Dark Pact, whatever you can to help your healer is really important. See, the healer was kind of far away, so now we've got a far one back here. And the hunter was also far this direction. We have one here too. Oh, we missed this one previously, so we're just gonna have a hard time catching up now. We should be able to pop all of them though. Unfortunately, they figured it out. We pop all of them. We kind of reset. But the healer is still kind of far, so we have a candle far away. And that's just how you fall behind. People too far away. What I could have done to min-max there is drop my demonic circle in the middle, have him thrown a gateway across, and then tried to break the far candle. And teleport back with the demonic circle afterwards. But it's okay. Yeah, instead of doing the gateway teleport thing, I just sprint over with Burning Rush and almost kill myself. I get 2% HP and save myself a drain life. Probably not the best idea to Burning Rush in this fight. I go ahead and start resing this guy, but I should just stay on the boss and kill him. He's at 4%. And he's not going to take the res anyway. Nice. And this boss, in my opinion, is the hardest part of this dungeon. Now that he's dead, we're pretty much in the clear. Not going down, you just jump off the side. You could drop a gateway and teleport with your demons, but like I said, I just have a habit of implosioning them. Just there's no chance at all they will pull those mobs. I'd rather lose a little bit of DPS on the next back, and not have my pets pull a Mythos. They should go with you when you gateway, but I'm always super, super cautious about it. I also have my pets on passive, so when I came down the stairs, you know, they would just come with me immediately. And I didn't take them off passive. So this entire pull, where I use my cooldowns, my pets are just AFK doing nothing. They're still AFK. Make sure if you are playing Demonology, you get one of those weak cores that tells you your pets are on passive. I'm normally very good at micromanaging my pets, you know, moving them to attack or putting them somewhere passive or whatever. And I just didn't notice that time. I'm also really bad at spelling when I'm typing quickly. And so we've got 10 minutes left. We are super good on time at this point. We have just a little bit further to go. We've got the boss chase scene or whatever. A little bit of trash in the last boss. And the last boss is pretty straightforward. It's not super difficult. Definitely after Candle King, as long as your timer is good, it's a free key. I try and gate through this little corridor, and there's an invisible ceiling, invisible wall. It kind of messes up my gateway, which is kind of awkward. I'm going to go ahead and skip through this little RPC. We've all done it before. One thing you can do in this as a warlock that's kind of, you know, a meme, is you can send your pets in to attack the boss. You see I just sent my pet in, he charged it and is meleeing it. Something funny you can do. Your pet despawns, you hit the summit afterwards. Right here. I've seen people cancel the stun by using teleports or jumps as soon as they land. I tried it with Gateway, and it didn't work. I didn't do it on time. And here, we're just going to kill a little bit of trash in this room, finish off our percent, and then go to the boss. There, I only had one soul shard, and I had no charges of my demon bolt stuff, but I went ahead. Let me show it here. Here, I've got no demon bolt procs. I've got one shard, and I see that my pit lord proc is up. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my Hand of Gul'dan with one shard only, which is normally pretty troll. But I've just tyrant-ed. I have my dogs out, and I have the empowered dog from our tier set. And when I use Hand of Gul'dan, I'll get my pit lord proc immediately afterwards, which counts as a 3-shard Hand of Gul'dan. So in this case, I just use the 1-shard Hand of Gul'dan, so I can immediately get the 4-stack out as well. That's right, the 3-stack Pit Lord Hand of Gul'dan. Now on the last boss, the name of the game is just, doing as much DPS as possible while also doing the mechanic, which I guess is the name of the game for everything in this whole game. You'll see here at the start, I dropped my demonic circle in the general area of where the candle is going to be. The tank's going to move it around, so I just kind of want this in the middle. I'm going to have the Shadow Blast. I'm going to go out and collect a candle. But for some reason, I go to the one place there isn't a candle. I look very confused. So I'll run over here, grab the candle, and I can just teleport back with it. Save some time. You'll see later, I also drop my gateway over to one of the candles. That makes it so my teammates can also run over and teleport back quite quickly. Right here, the Eternal Darkness is when you're going to want a candle in here, otherwise you can wipe on it. And we weren't quite prepared for it, but we didn't wipe, luckily. You'll also see that I have Curse of Tongues on the boss. He has one cast, and that cast isn't the biggest deal. It just summons ads. Those ads will drain the candle, so they have to be CC'd or kicked or whatever, or killed. But it's not that big of a deal. Generally, Warlock is pretty mobile, so unless you're playing with like mages and shit, or hunters, it's not that, you probably should be the one to go out and grab the candles before the big AoE happens. Teleport back quite easily. Normally most groups will just say whoever has the Shadow Blast AoE circle should go out and do it. So. Here I see darkness is coming up. What you can also do is that these candles give you a buff. The candle, I can stay out here with the candle and DPS for the next 9 seconds. And then it'll wear off. The candle makes it so that this debuff where you do no damage and stuff goes away. You can go out here, grab the candle, and hold it for a second or two to really like maximize the amount of candle percentage you get off of one candle. Let's see, I see during cast for a second while the boss is destroying the candle. I teleport in a little bit later. Just to buy us that much more percent. Probably, 10 or 15% extra candle HP. Which definitely matters right now. We'd probably be a 0 if I didn't do it that way. Even the hunter could have come in faster, but if you can milk it a little bit, you probably should. I keep readjusting my demonic circle as well whenever the candle moves. You don't have to do it. You can just kind of put it in the middle area and it's fine. I make it known to them that I'm going to grab the candle. And there we go. Plus 15's done. 3.8 million overall. Not so bad. Not the best, but it's pretty good. I got some IO. I'm getting close to 3,200, and I'm pretty happy with my progress so far. But yeah, that's going to be the video. Thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.